Welcome to today's Explainer. Okay, picture this. You're right in the middle of preparing an absolute masterpiece. Maybe you're getting a gorgeous sear on a steak or bringing a giant pot of pasta water to a rolling boil, and then, click, your induction cooktop just shuts off. No warning, nothing. It is so incredibly frustrating, right? You probably immediately think, great, I just broke a massively expensive appliance. But today, we're going to demystify these sudden, panic-inducing glitches. Because as you're going to see, the vast majority of the time, these aren't malfunctions at all. They're actually highly intelligent, built-in safety features that are just trying to protect your kitchen. So let's quickly look at our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The mid-cook shutdown, 2. Decoding weird cooktop noises, 3. Cracking the error codes, 4. Quick DIY troubleshooting steps, and finally 5. Repair or replace. My goal here is to get you back to cooking confidently without spending a fortune on a service call. Let's jump right into section 1, the mid-cook shutdown. We're starting with what is honestly the most panic-inducing symptom a home chef can experience. You're cooking away, the pan is perfectly hot, the food is sizzling, and then bam, the whole appliance just goes completely dark. The control panel is dead, the heat stops, and you're just standing there wondering, why did my cooktop just turn off? It feels like a catastrophic failure, I know, but let's take a look at what's actually happening under the glass. Here is the absolutely crucial point. This sudden shutdown isn't a glitch. It's actually the thermal overheating protection doing exactly what it was designed to do. You see, induction cooktops generate immense, extremely rapid heat. And while that heat is mostly concentrated right in the pan, sustained high-power cooking can actually cause the glass surface or those delicate internal circuit boards to get way too hot. So when the internal sensors detect that temperatures are crossing a dangerous threshold, the system just cuts the power to save your electronics from totally frying. It's literally rescuing itself. And that actually leads us right to another massive reason for sudden power drops: power sharing. Most induction units have a maximum total power output. It's basically a total electrical budget. If you've got a massive pot of water boiling on boost, and then you crank up a second zone to high, the system realizes, uh-oh, I'm about to exceed my budget. To prevent tripping a circuit breaker in your house, which would be a whole other headache, the cooktop automatically shares the power. It might momentarily pause, or just dial back the heat on your first burner to accommodate the second. It's really just doing a highly intelligent balancing act. Now, let's talk about pots and pans, because cookware is a huge culprit here. Induction tech relies entirely on magnetic fields. For this to work, compatible pans absolutely must be ferromagnetic, meaning a fridge magnet will stick really strongly to the bottom, and they need to be flat and perfectly centered over the zone. On the flip side, incompatible materials like aluminum, copper, or even perfectly good magnetic pans that have a warped, uneven bottom, they simply won't sustain that magnetic connection. If the sensor loses that connection, or if it thinks the pen is too small or slightly off-center, it instantly shuts off the zones so it doesn't waste energy. All right, moving on to Section 2, decoding weird cooktop noises. Let's decipher those strange sounds, because a noisy cooktop definitely isn't always a broken one. What's kind of fascinating is that most of these sounds are literally just the appliance doing a hard day's work. Hear a clicking sound when you first set down a pot? That is completely normal. It's just the utensil recognition phase testing the magnetic connection. What about a low humming? That's usually just the control lock feature engaged while the stove is off. And if you hear a loud running fan that stays on even after you've finished cooking and turn the whole thing off, that is actually vital. It's cooling down those internal electronics we talked about earlier so they don't trigger a thermal shutdown next time. However, there's one sound you absolutely shouldn't ignore. If you hear a distinct, sharp crackling sound, pay close attention. That crackling is actually the physical vibration of joints between different layers of metals in multi-material, kind of substandard cookware. And not only is it super annoying to listen to, but those intense micro-vibrations can actually leave permanent scorch marks and totally ruin the beautiful glass surface of your cooktop. Seriously, if your pan crackles loudly, just retire it. It's not worth the risk. Let's hit Section 3, cracking the error codes. When your digital readout starts flashing all these cryptic letters and numbers, it's so easy to just assume the worst. Now, while the exact error codes vary wildly depending on the brand, like you can see here Bosch uses E3, while GE Profile uses CRD for the exact same issue, there is actually a super clear pattern. Across the board, the most common faults you're going to run into relate to either a missing compatible pan or an overheating condition. If you see these specific pan detection codes, the fix is literally as simple as adjusting the pot or just swapping it for a magnetic one. And if you get the over-temp codes, the cooktop is just politely asking for a breather to cool down. And then, get this, there are codes that aren't even errors at all. For example, a ton of LG and GE users totally panic when they see the word hot lit up on the display right after they finish cooking. Actually, our sources note that service centers get frantic calls about this constantly. But this is just a residual heat warning. It's just alerting you that, hey, even though the burner is off, the glass surface is still above 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the glass cools down below that safe threshold, the warning just disappears completely on its own. Okay, Section 4. Quick DIY troubleshooting steps. Let's take all this knowledge and build an actionable triage plan that you can do right now before paying a totally unnecessary service fee. You'll want to follow this exact sequence the next time your cooktop acts up. First, jot down the error code exactly as it appears. Second, perform a hard reset. You do this by shutting off the circuit breaker to the kitchen for a full 10 minutes. This gives the internal computer boards a chance to completely discharge and clear out any temporary weird glitches. Third, grab a fridge magnet and test your pan. If it doesn't stick firmly, well, there's your problem right there. And fourth, double-check that your cooling vents are actually clear. Actually, speaking of ventilation, this is a massive detail that gets overlooked all the time during installation or when you're just organizing your kitchen. You absolutely must ensure there's a minimum of 2 inches of cabinet clearance beneath the cooktop. If you've got a drawer underneath and you've stuffed it full of oversized spatulas or bulky towels, you are blocking the airflow. And blocked airflow means the internal fans can't do their job, which is going to constantly trigger those thermal shutdowns we talked about earlier. Give your cooktop room to breathe, folks. And that brings us to Section 5, repair or replace. Let's say you've tried the DIY steps and they just don't clear the fault. Well, you're less facing the ultimate appliance dilemma. To answer it, you really have to know what you're dealing with. Things like pan errors or accidentally activated child locks, which by the way often show up as LOC or emit a loud beep, those are super easy DIY fixes. But if you start seeing persistent inverter faults, main control board failures like an E0 code, or cooling fan failures, you have to stop. These are high voltage systems and they require an authorized technician. Seriously, never attempt to open up the glass and mess with the internal wiring yourself. Now, if you do need a major professional repair, context is basically everything. Before you drop hundreds of dollars, consider the lifespan of your unit. Industry data shows that the expected lifespan of an induction cooktop is right around 10,000 hours of active use. To put that into perspective, for a typical home cook, that translates to roughly 10 years of reliable service. So if your cooktop is pushing a decade old, its internal components are simply reaching the end of their natural life cycle. Which brings us to a somewhat harsh but incredibly practical truth from the appliance repair experts in our sources. Repairing a highly sophisticated induction cooktop out of warranty is almost never economical. Think about it. By the time you pay for the technician's labor, the initial diagnostic fee, and then those incredibly expensive proprietary parts like power inverters or the glass top itself, you can easily approach the cost of a brand new appliance. More often than not, it's way wiser to take that repair cash and just invest it into a brand new unit that comes with a fresh, multi-year factory guarantee. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. The very next time your cooking gets interrupted by a sudden shutdown, a weird noise, or some flashing code, just pause. Ask yourself, is the appliance actually broken, or is it just working exactly as designed to protect its electronics? By understanding how power sharing, thermal sensors, and proper cookware all work together, you can use the DIY steps we covered today to confidently decode your appliance. Take control of your kitchen, save yourself a totally unnecessary repair bill, and just keep on cooking. But it does leave you wondering, are modern appliances becoming entirely too smart for our own good, or are we just finally catching up to the technology? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer.